Hello. So today we're going to continue our work in volume, and we're thinking about shapes called prisms, which are very like our rectangular boxes here. So if we look at our rectangular box that we talked about the last day, it's effectively like we have a rectangle as the end surface, and then we just have it the same shape going back, in this case for 8 meters. So we have the area of this end piece here, and then we just continue that area on back, in this case for 8 meters. That's a way of thinking about the box, and it's very useful for dealing with prisms. So we're used to thinking from the last day of a volume of our box would be 3 by 2 by 8, so length by width by height. But if we look at this 3 by 2 here, that's 3 by 2 would be the area of that shape of our end rectangle there. So that would be 3 by 2 would give us 6 meters squared. So the area of that end would be 6 meters squared. And then to get the volume, we can see from our original formula that we just multiply by the length of our rectangular box. So this is a different way of thinking about volume of our prisms or of our boxes. We get the area of the end, the area of one of the ends, and then multiply by the length of our box. And this is another way of looking at the same thing. It effectively works out the same for our rectangular box, but this is more useful in general. So if we have something that looks like this, where we have a shape and we've just continued it out for a length, we call it a prism. And the volume of that in general is going to be the area of our end multiplied by the length of our prism. And you can see for a rectangular box that works out as being exactly the same formula. So this example here is very like what you would do for question 5. So we'd get the area of our end would be 6 multiplied by the length of our prism would be 8, and we would end up with a total volume for that shape of 48, in this case meters cubed. So the area of our end, find the area of the end of the shape, multiply by the length of the prism, and this is going to give you our volume. And you can see how close it is to the idea that we dealt with the last day. Now if we take an example where we actually have to calculate the area, like in question 6, top of the next page, so page 248, question 6, and I'm doing part 2 out here. I have a prism. I have a shape here which is a right angle triangle, and I've continued it out for a length of 15 centimeters. So I have a block here. As opposed to a rectangular box, I have a triangle ended box. So what I'm going to do is find the area of this end triangle and then multiply it by this length of 15 centimeters, and that's going to give me the volume of my box. So my first job is to find the area of this end shape. I'm looking for the area of my triangle here. The area of my triangle is the first thing I need to find. And I know that the area of a triangle is given to me by a formula, half the base multiplied by the height. So I write that down. And I know that I'm looking for the volume, so I'm going to say that my volume for this shape is going to be the area of the end multiplied by the length. And my length is going to be 15 there. So let's write this down. I want the area of my end triangle is going to be half the base by the height. My base of my triangle, I can see the triangle shape here. The base of that triangle is going to be 10 centimeters. And the height of that triangle from this base up to the furthest point away is going to be 6 centimeters. So that's my height, is 6 centimeters. So the area of my end surface is going to be a half multiplied by 10 multiplied by 6. And when I put that into my calculator, I get 30 centimeters squared. I now have the area I want for the end of my surface. If I multiply that by the length of my prism or of my block, I end up getting the volume that I'm looking for. So then the volume is equal to area multiplied by the length, and we've seen where that comes from. And I have my area is 30 centimeters squared, and my length is given to me in the picture as 15 centimeters. So if I multiply these two things together, I'm going to get the volume I want. So volume is equal to area multiplied by length, and when I put that in my calculator, I get that it is 450 centimeters cubed. Again, volume is going to be units cubed. So that's what we need, and again, the structure of this is really important for preparing for exam questions. I have drawn a sketch, I have written out the formula I'm going to use, I've written down the information I know, and I have subbed in to those formulas. If you follow those steps, you will be able to do the exam questions. And that's the skills that we need for today.